morning, everybody. How is everybody doing today? Nope. I started on time. You just know me. I get the waiting room going, start talking to people, waiting for people to show up, Finn, but at least you made it. You usually make it a little later on in the day. Or in the newscast, rather. So, this weekend had some rather interesting things happening. One of which, let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. I'm sure everybody has seen this screen cap flying around. It seems that Miss Christy Winters is rather proud about having Bearing suspended from Twitter. She has been trying for ages, even though, quote-unquote, she's not obsessed with Bearing. Good morning, Jacob Nevo, and welcome to my live chat and the stream this morning. So I'm also saying good morning to Amariel Bell, Rhetorical Entertainment, Neilk, welcoming back Fenrir as well, and Diz, who is in the chat. He finally got up early enough to make a new show. If you're wondering where the hubby is, he's playing League of Legends, and you guys can see the dog on the cam. So we're taking a look at this screen cap, and the first thing that is glaringly obvious is apparently either she wants to try and go to Arizona, which is where Kilroy is happening, or she has no clue how to abbreviate Australia. Morning, reality check. This woman just never ceases to amaze me. She literally blocked me when I tried to tell her a couple of the jokes that Ranting Monkey made to somebody. No, actually, she was the one that I was arguing about teaching men not to rape. She blocked me. Of course, she blocks everybody. She's another Shives. So, why is that, any different from anybody else like Shives and Winters and all this stuff? So, no, I don't do the, let me see, Diz, you wake up for this or you never go to sleep last night due to Cyber Monday shopping. I don't like to shop. We don't have any money to shop this time around. And even if I did, the one thing I promised myself I would never do is don riot gear and get a cattle prod and go shopping on Black Friday, because I don't believe in risking my life for a sale. That may make me odd in the eyes of a lot of people, but, to each his own. Yep, we have a new Shives. We most definitely do. And congratulations on your 200 subs, my dear Fen. We have 2 congratulations to deal out today. One who is in the live chat, who I already did. Fen reached 200 subs, much to his surprise. And White Sith Male hit that magical 1,000 sub number, which means he can now open up his super chat. So, Black Friday is not even busy. Actually, according to the news, that Black Friday was the best Black Friday when you compare it to the previous few years. So it did do better than most people were expecting it to do, which is a good sign that our economy is actually going up. You're one away from 300, Rhetorical. Congratulations. We got to get you there. Up and over, up and over. Because it always seems to me that Black Friday is some sort of indicator as to how well an economy is going in this country, because that shows you how much, I don't like to use this term, but I'm going to use it anyway, expendable income people have to go shopping with to put back in the economy to keep the jobs going. And when you don't have that extra money, then you have Black Friday and other, sales seasons, as I like to call them, suffer because people don't have any money. Fenrir, I was out and it was like any pre-Christmas weekend. Huh. Yep, I'm too broke to shop too, Diz. Oh, you didn't sleep well. Sorry, dear. Sorry about that. Let's see, what else happened this weekend? Do you have anything to add to what happened this weekend?
You got a pretty good cover with everything that I could think of.
We had a little bit of fun gaming on Lotro this weekend. We got to introduce people to one of our passions, answer some questions about the game, and even talk to some people while we were playing. So, let me see. Tree blowing up? I don't see a tree blowing up, but let me see if we can get into the news and see what we...
exploded? Apparently
a tree exploded.
That's where Mitch was keeping his secret stash of explodium.
Seems like it. Alright, a tree blowing up. That sounds interesting. We may have to get into that after the next segment. Oh, Tree of Logic. Oh, she blew... What happened with Tree? Tree has me blocked on Twitter. Apparently, I didn't agree with her, and I called her out for being, irrational. And so she's blocked me for a long time. Yeah, I've slowly been seeing Tree of Logic go down that implosion rabbit hole. It's kind of sad to see. I used to watch her videos. I used to enjoy watching her pick on people on Twitter. Yeah, she seems to be the new Shives lately. And I think what really threw her over the edge was Red Pill Black. Because I think the last video I saw of her, she was visibly shaken about possibly being doxxed by Red Pill Black. Because she is a former police officer, so there are a lot of people that she doesn't want knowing where she lives. And that is completely understandable. She did make a lot of points in the last couple of things that I saw on her channel. I can't remember the names of those videos. But the thing is, her irrationality is beginning to shine through, and she is visibly shaken. You can tell where she's done investigative work, and you can tell where she's added in her 2 cents, and she's let her fear override her better sense of judgment. Now, this does not mean that I do not know, and I'm too dumb to realize that Social Autopsy was a doxing website. Okay? It is. It may not be up anymore, but when she had it going, no matter what Red Pill Black said it was a doxing website, plain and simple. So you've got that going on there. Another thing that we've got to keep an eye on is, I'm going to tease you with it before we start the news segment. Ajit, good morning, Tranime. Ajit has released his complete motion or rules or new set of regulations for net neutrality. I am going to go over the too long didn't read section, which is thankfully at the front of it, and hit a couple of the longer points on a couple of the other pages. I just glanced over it this morning. I didn't do an in-depth reading, otherwise this show would not happen. The actual document is 210 pages long because, the government can't get to the point, and you have to wade through 10 tons of legalese. Morning, Panina. So, let's get on with it. So, on Saturday, we've got 2 stories, one of which, Trump's Thanksgiving message. President Trump delivered an address to the troops who are overseas. He praised their progress in Afghanistan and the fight against ISIS. He told them they were fighting for, quote, something real, and, quote, big, beautiful, fat tax cuts he said they would be looking at when they got home. He continued to call them brave, incredible fighters. He took another dig at the mainstream media because they were in the room with him. He can't, keep himself from doing that, and I can't blame him because I'd poke and prod him too, but that's just me. As he acknowledged the press in the room, he added, better me than you. Believe me, fellas, better me than you. He also went on to talk about boosting military spending. Even though he's been speaking positively, where you see him speak about tax reforms, Trump is still desperately looking for his first definitive legislative victory because he keeps getting either shut down in the Supreme Court or he keeps having to butt heads with the Senate and the House and Congress. So we still have those problems going on there. And, Trump is being blamed for being ineffectual. The problem is you cannot be an effective president if Congress don't want to work with you to get things resolved and to get things fixed. So he's got a lot more obstacles and a lot more hurdles that he's got to overcome that most presidents in the past really didn't have. Not to this extent and not to this degree, I believe. So we're still keeping an eye on those events. So let's see what else we've got here. All right. Also, Saturday it was reported that the blogger murder in Bangladesh. Back in 2015, a U.S. blogger who was critical of religious extremism was found dead. Saturday, Bangladesh police stated they arrested an Islamic militant who is wanted in connection with the murder. 24-year-old Arafat Rahman was identified by the Deputy Police Commissioner Masudur Rahman. A lot of these people have the same last name, not that they're related or anything, but, it's all that stuff that goes on over there that I don't quite understand about their culture. Avijit Roy, the victim, was a U.S. citizen of Bangladeshi origin. He was found hacked to death in February of 2015. The murder weapon was identified as a machete. His wife, Rafida Ahmed, was seriously wounded in the attack. Arafat was arrested by counterterrorism police on the outskirts of Dhaka, the capital, Friday night. The police went on to state the Ansar Ullah Bangla team militant group is behind the murder and the murders of more than a dozen bloggers and gay rights activists. And all this has been happening since about 2015, I believe, maybe earlier than that. Let me see. On Sunday, here we go. Alright, Iran accuses U.S. over Saudi atrocities in Yemen. Saudi Arabia is leading a coalition which is fighting Tehran-backed Houthi rebels. This has led to, you know what? Every once in a while, I have typos in this thing, to strife and conflict in the region, and Iran is pointing fingers at the U.S. Bahram Ghasemi, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, was quoted as saying, clearly and without question, proves America's participation and responsibility in the atrocities committed by Saudi Arabia in Yemen. In response, Washington said it was, quote, committed to supporting Saudi Arabia against the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, what a name, aggression and blatant violations of international law, unquote. Iran and Saudi both back opposing factions from Syria to Yemen. Diplomatic communications were ended between the two in January 2016. Morning, Jason. This is when Riyadh executed a prominent Shiite cleric. Iranian protesters stormed the Saudi diplomatic mission in response. Both parties are in danger of neglecting civilian safety. So that's where we are with that. Now, one of the reasons that I read that Iran is blaming us for the quote-unquote atrocities happening in Yemen and, all the police action and all that stuff in Yemen is that through our agreement with Saudi Arabia and the fact that we are helping them in the region, we actually did arms deals with them. So Iran is like, since they're using U.S. arms, then the United States is as much to blame as Saudi is. And in a roundabout way, they are correct. We may not have official boots. Do we have any troops in Yemen?
Yemen. There may be a few. As part of, might be part of a UN action or something, but an official United States solo action in Yemen, I do not believe so at this time.
Okay. So, they're blaming us because, we're working with the Saudis to, push out the Houthi and to get Yemen stable again. So we're going to keep an eye on this particular situation and see how it unfolds. Because what happens in the world inevitably impacts all of us in one way or another. Let's see here. Next. All right. Bannon is making House Republicans nervous. Even though Bannon has stated he will come... he will not come. Oh, hang on. He will not come from mainstream Republicans in the same way he's targeting senators. Many House Republicans are nervous just the same. The ousted strategist is making no effort to hide his attempt to topple Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and incumbents who back him. Bannon and his supporters have said McConnell is, quote, the embodiment of an insufficiently conservative, unproductive party establishment, unquote. Boy, that's a mouthful. 24 Republicans and 7 Democrats say they are not running for re-election. Exactly, Fen. A lot of people buy weapons from us, so what? But remember, Iran and us and the U.S. have been butting heads for years, especially since they wanted to do, their own nuclear tests and refine their own uranium and so on and so forth. So this has been going back and forth since before Obama and that absolutely abysmal deal that Obama made. That, Iran isn't even honoring. So they're honoring it in some respects, but not completely in all the respects they need to be, because they're gonna do the same thing North Korea is gonna do. They're going to continue to research and, do warheads and increase their arsenal because they don't like us. As much as, the other side of the fence, the way other side of the fence, would like to say that, we're quote unquote Islamophobic, or we're bigots because, we don't like a particular religion, even though religion is not a race, so you can't technically be racist against religion. This is a religious ideology that does not like our way of life. What we worship as a religion, if we worship anything at all, or how we conduct our every day-to-day business. So, these are things that some people don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to see, they don't want to accept this as fact, even though it's fact. So these are things we have to keep an eye on. Because if it does eventually fall apart, I hope it doesn't, and things go to hell to the point where they're in our country and we have to fight them off, then, it has taken a turn for the worse, and we've got to stand up. And yes, we do arms deals. We've done arms deals with Israel. We've done ours with Saudi and other countries as well. So does that mean we should be blamed by proxy for any conflict those weapons inflict? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because once we sell the weapons, we're not responsible for those weapons anymore. The country that uses those weapons are responsible for those weapons. Fenrir, yeah, it's kissing their ass, didn't make them like it. Exactly. Their ideology isn't one of integrating to society. I mean, if you read the Quran and the Hadith and that other book that I can't remember, it is not a religious ideology of integration. It's one of conquering and subjugating, or killing people who won't convert to Islam. No matter how you slice it, that is not a peaceful religion. And now, we've gotten to Monday, and I really don't have any picture for this one because I screwed up. At least I can admit it. FBI leaves many in the dark. The FBI have failed to alert many U.S. officials of a security breach involving Russian hackers and their personal Gmail accounts. This is after having evidence of such for a minimum of 1 year. Thank you, Jasons, Hadith, and Surah. Thank you very much. After almost 80 interviews with Americans who were targeted, there were only 2 cases showing the FBI had given any kind of warning. The targeting was done by Russian-aligned hacking group known as Fancy Bear. What a name for a hacking group. The FBI has declined to discuss its investigation into Fancy Bear's spying campaign. Quote, the FBI routinely notifies individuals and organizations of potential threat information, unquote. Apparently you're not if you're in the news about not doing it. A senior FBI official says the Bureau has been overwhelmed by the sheer volume of attempted hacks. This is the self-same hacking group that disrupted the 2016 election, causing a shadow to be cast over Trump's presidency. The Russian government denies any interference in that particular electoral cycle. Diz, Bering backs Russian hackers confirmed. Exactly, Fenrir. That's like saying gun manufacturers are at fault for what we do with a gun we buy. Exactly. Once we sell those arms to the other countries, we're no longer responsible for those weapons, for those munitions, or for any other military equipment we sell to these foreign countries. So Iran pointing the finger at us saying we're as much as fault as Saudi Arabia is ludicrous, but that's the way they're thinking because they don't like us. And they've never really liked us. So, it's... I think I'm giving everybody... You can tell it's Monday when I change the date, but not the weekday. Because it still says it's Wednesday. Okay, here we go. Fixed it. Alright. So, yeah. My brain isn't all here. Alright, so, yeah, and of course, Russia's going to contend that they didn't have any tampering, that they didn't tamper with the electoral cycle, that they didn't have any hackers do it. I remember being at our aunt's over the weekend, over this past week, doing some laundry, and I was watching a newscast on ABC, and they're doing an in-depth expose on how Russian hackers got into a Facebook backdoor and started making false news articles and stuff in order to sway the election. And they showed some examples of some screen cap examples of fake Breitbart news articles and things of that nature in order to get people, to be swayed in one direction or another. And they pointed out the misspelling of Breitbart and some of the words being misspelled in the headline in the screen cap. And they said these are the kind of things that they look for in false advertising, and false news and things of that way. Facebook backdoor, a.k.a. the front door. Thank you, Neil.
Pretty much. It's you can do anything you like.
Well, Facebook, when they were asked about it, the only statement they said was that they don't have in their records any recorded evidence of them selling these particular ads to these people that posted these ads on Facebook.
And they probably did, though.
They probably did. They probably did.
I mean, honestly, they're not going to admit to it and everything, but Facebook is now a publicly traded company. Mm-hmm. All its stockholders care about are profits.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you can spin that bullshit to everybody else. I personally, for one, will not believe it.
No.
You are a for-profit organization at this point, so...
Yep. Okay, Trump may be stopped from trying to name acting director of CFPB. President Donald Trump wants to appoint his budget director, Mick Mulvaney, to be the acting chief of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. This has prompted Leandra English, who is the interim director, to file a lawsuit Sunday night in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. She's asking for a declaratory judgment and a temporary restraining order to block the president's appointment. English cited the Dodd-Frank, saying the law does not support the appointment of Mulvaney to the position. This overshadows one fact: the future of the CFPB itself. The Bureau was created after the 2008 financial crisis as a watchdog for consumers when dealing with banks and credit card companies. Yes, that means it was created during the Obama administration. Senator John Thune wants to eventually see reforms to the agency, which has essentially very little accountability to the Congress or anybody else. This is one of those little things that he established, and I'm not going to claim definitively by executive order, but he did a lot of things by executive order that were governmental overreach.
One of the things that you just mentioned that it strikes to me and everything, they don't really report to Congress. Where are the checks and balances? And in the absence of checks and balances and everything, I could go to my favorite constitutionalist, which is Mitch the Ripper, and ask him, is that constitutional? And he can give me a definitive yes or no.
Yeah. Well, to me, this agency is pretty much a redundancy. Isn't that what the FTC is supposed to do?
Yeah, but the Federal Trade Commission is branched out over so much, because the Federal Trade Commission also monitors the stock markets. That in itself takes up probably 85% of their resources.
Yeah, because the stock market is huge.
Because they have to constantly monitor for inside trading and things that would force interest rates higher and everything to benefit a select group and everything. This is what they were actually supposed to be policing and everything. With the entire concept and idea was to keep inflation, and I hate using that fucking word because it costs no more to produce today what it used to produce back then.
Yeah.
And everything. So all of these extra fees and all of these enlarged and overgorged prices that we get charged for most things are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. So we're going to keep an eye on this as well. And as far as the other that I promised you, I did take a quick look. I do have a little TLDR to show. So let's get into that. Let me open up the right page here. That way I am not reading the wrong page. Okay, this is the summary. It starts with a TLDR. And this is what he wants to do with it. He restore the classification of broadband internet access service as an information service, the classification affirmed by the Supreme Court in the Brand X case. And I'll be making a note and looking up the Brand X case after I get off the live stream. Reinstate the private mobile service classification of mobile broadband internet access service. What the report and order will do: adopt transparency requirements that ISPs disclose information about their practices to consumers, entrepreneurs, and the Commission. Restore the Federal Trade Commission's ability to protect consumers. And what the order will do is find that the public interest is not served by, continuing the way it's continuing, which is a utility. I highlighted one little paragraph on page 3, which is, we take several actions in this order to restore internet freedom. First, we end utility-style regulation of the internet in favor of the market-based policies necessary to preserve the future of internet freedom. In the 2015 Title II order, the Commission abandoned almost 20 years of precedent and reclassified broadband internet access service as a telecommunications service subject to myriad regulatory obligations under Title II of the Communications Act of 1934, as amended in the Act. It also goes on to say, we reverse this misguided and legally flawed approach. Oops, let me scroll that down because you guys can't see that. There we are. We reverse this misguided and legally flawed approach and restore the broadband internet access service to its Title I information service classification. We find that reclassification as an information service best comports with the text and structure of the Act, Commission precedent, and our policy objectives. We thus return to the approach to broadband internet access service affirmed as reasonable by the United States Supreme Court. We also reinstate the private mobile service classification of mobile broadband internet access service and return to the Commission's definition of, quote, interconnected service, unquote, that existed prior to 2015. We determine that this light-touch information service framework will provide investment and innovation better than applying costly and restrictive laws of a bygone era to broadband internet access service. Our balanced approach also restores the authority of the nation's most experienced cop on the privacy beat, the Federal Trade Commission, to police the privacy practices of internet service providers. 3. Next, we require ISPs to be transparent. Disclosure of network management practices, performance, and commercial terms of service is important for internet freedom because it helps consumers choose what works best for them and enables entrepreneurs and other small businesses to get technical information needed to innovate. Individual consumers, not the government, decide internet access service best meets their individualized needs. We return to the transparency rule the Commission adopted in 2010 with certain limited modifications to promote the additional transparency, and we eliminate certain reporting requirements adopted in the Title II order that we find to be unnecessary and burdensome. So that's what I found in a preliminary scan for this particular order that they're trying to put across.
Translation and some digging into.
It is. It most definitely is. That's why I said it was preliminary, and that was just, on a preliminary scan.
Some of the ideas, I'm kind of, with Mitch along the whole free speech concept and everything, this is.
Well, I mean, if you take a look at the internet as a whole, yes, it can be an information-based service because you can look up any kind of information you're looking for, from peer reviews to double-blind studies to, all sorts of research, to make papers, to write essays, in order to do grants or get doctorates or, graduate with PhDs and such, or do what we do on YouTube. It's also an entertainment venue because you have a lot of online games that you can play by yourself or with friends, MMOs to be exact, or also massive multiplayer online strategy games, which I don't want to get into because strategy games aren't in my thing. So you have a little bit of the best of both worlds. You have all this information at your fingertips, and at the same time you have all this entertainment at your fingertips. So, are they FCC or are they FTC? Because FTC would probably... What? I don't think the FTC...
The FCC has a lot more restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally say because you are an entertainment source...
Yeah.
Or public entertainment source and everything, they can literally use the same guidelines that they use for television and radio, which means that they can censor, basically, and tell you what you can and cannot say in a public venue.
Yeah.
For a mass audience and everything, because you don't know who you... Now, the problem is, with the FTC, you start getting into a little more of the regulatory issues where pricing becomes more corporate based.
Yeah. Because to me, the FTC would be more of a regulatory thing in cases of online shops.
Well, online shops, that's one basic thing and everything, but the market itself under the FTC, they could say, okay, you can charge X amount, up to X amount for, your access service per each of your customers, in which case and everything, these guys, well, okay, we'll just set it at the maximum and everything, and then say, oh, this isn't enough and everything, and go back to the FTC and have them raise the rate.
Yeah. Which causes problems for people that are having... Which
causes problems for people and everything. That's not, access to all.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, there have been companies, like I saw over the weekend, Comcast released a statement that said that they will always be affordable to all, and they will never throttle, and they will never this, and they will never that.
They do. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Diz says, FTC would be the appropriate department to ensure regulations and such were being upheld. FCC never should have had control.
No, FCC should not have had control. That I will agree on that. When the FCC takes control and everything, they can, like I said, limit your platforms.
Yeah.
It's the same rules under, television and things like television and radio. Watch what you say. You can't go too far out there and everything and upset people.
Right.
FTC, however, they don't give a damn if your feelings get hurt.
No, they don't.
They don't. As long as you're paying for it and all parties are making money, they don't care.
Yeah. Fen says, wonder what Comcast is going to charge for Netflix now. Well, it's not only Comcast. AT&T has come under fire and other companies as well for their questionable business practices in regards to being broadband service providers and ISPs.
And AT&T is trying to buy whom, dear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Time Warner.
Time Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if they buy Time Warner, the parent company of Comcast.
And CNN.
And a host of other things and everything, that would place them back again in the market of a monopoly.
Yeah.
Now, for probably 90% of the millennials out there, look up Bell South.
No shit.
Or Bell Telephone and Telegraph.
Yep.
Bell Telephone and Telegraph was a parent company of AT&T, Bell South, and every other phone provider in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
They were ruled finally back in, what was it, the 70s, the late 70s, mid-late 70s, as a monopoly and busted up into different organizations.
Yep.
AT&T being one of them.
Yep. Jason Brazeal says a huge problem with these ISPs is they're so monopolistic. We can only get Comcast and AT&T here. I don't have much of a choice for internet. We have, I looked it up yesterday or the day before while I was watching Cogstream. We have 8 internet service providers in the United States. 4 of which are Verizon, Comcast, AT&T, and Frontier. And if you want a glaringly horrible testimonial and witness to the service of Frontier, all you have to do is ask our dear Mitch, who has recently switched. In our area, the only thing we have available is Comcast, so we're stuck with Comcast and their Xfinity television service.
At least until I move aside. I'm actually, I would love for us when we relocate to end up somewhere where I can get fiber.
Yeah.
And they mess around with me, I'll move in an area and get you a dedicated T1 line. Screw them.
Yeah. Diz, trust me, there's no way the companies can do what people are worried about. I can buy more net in my neighborhood and rent it than there are people.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, to be honest, I'm familiar with the area since I've been through there many times, Diz. And you and I have spoken, I think, on this on a few other occasions. Diz lives in my opinion and everything in one of the best places on the planet. He lives in Texas.
Yeah.
I love Texas. You know this, Maddie. You know how much I love going in and out of Texas.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite places to go to. Mainly because I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Louisiana and New Orleans, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Panina says municipalities. Yes, sometimes my tongue doesn't work correctly when I'm trying to read too. Municipalities limit what providers can be in areas, so the government is still throttling the open market.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Jacob. Maddie, I live in Louisiana, so I am screwed with internet. We lived with somebody that lived in Louisiana. We completely sympathize because we were stuck on satellite internet service. Try playing League of Legends on satellite internet service.
80 to 120 ping.
Oh, God.
And severe limits on the usage per month. You hit your usage and everything, you were throttled down to about 125 to 130 on your usage, and I'm like, this is horrible.
Neil, my ISP still doesn't think I exist, yet they somehow bill me. That's funny. All right, let's get on to the next segment.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
And we are to the shout-outs. We're going to start with this particular shout-out to the front with our very own Boogie with an almost 3-minute video on It's Time to Fight Net Neutrality on its last legs. He ends it with a little Francis skit, which is absolutely hilarious, but he is pleading to everybody to write your congressman, get in touch with the people in Congress, let them know that you don't want this to happen. The more I find out about this, the more I'm kind of a little still nervous about them dropping the regulations from 2015, and then the more I'm on the fence with this and still want more information.
I really want to see what you dig up inside all of those documents, because I know if you run across something, you're going to let me know, and we'll sit and we'll have a general in-depth conversation about it. And once we do find out all of the information we can dig out of this and try to do as best we can to translate this into plain, simple facts and for everyone to follow, because legalese takes some damn translations. I'm thinking we could do a special or something whenever we figure it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll go over it page by page, highlight by highlight, and show all try to make a list of the pros and cons to it and everything, and then we could jointly, as a group, as people that use this on a daily basis and everything, we could say, okay, now amongst us, is this a good idea or a bad idea?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have their own opinion, but it's just going to take a little more looking into. Yeah,
we need to dig and read the whole thing, and we weave through the
210 pages. There's a lot that
Yes, there is.
And that lady that's
and there's a lot of footnotes.
And I just want to ask a question. That nice lady that's trying to block the new appointment, why do I just keep replaying in my mind? What is she trying to hide?
I don't know, but she was actually appointed by someone that was a remnant from the Obama administration.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting here thinking, it sounds to me like that's a desperate attempt at trying to cover up something that's maybe a little shady underneath it. You don't go through that kind of problem and everything just because somebody wants to replace you. Yeah.
All right, on to the next shout out. The 3-Year Time Traveler featuring Suit Yourself. This is on Omegon's channel. We were listening to it this morning, and it is absolutely freaking hilarious. They are responding to this guy who is either a Poe or actually is so mentally unstable, he believes he is a time traveler from 3 years in the future. Yes, I said 3 years in the future. It is one hell of a video to watch if you need a smile, a laugh, or if you just need to really just roll out of your fucking chair laughing your ass off. Next one. Toon, she will shoot you if you use the wrong pronouns. This is another funny one because Toon really rips into this particular quote-unquote PSA, which is a social justice PSA on using the right pronouns for transgenders. Oh, excuse me. I said that out loud, didn't I? For transgender people. It's trying to be PC. Yeah, right. So this is another really entertaining video to give a look-see.
Again, I am not politically correct.
Me neither.
In any sense of the manner.
No.
You come up. Did you just assume? If I ever hear that come out, they're not going to get past assume before I stuff them in a small object.
I mean, the only trans people that I acknowledge are actual transsexual people who are going through the counseling, who are going through the medications and the transition from one sex to another. Because these are people that have gone through hell not only in their minds, but real life, because they truly believe they're stuck in the wrong body. And they're doing everything they can to fix it, to make their lives, more livable, a lot more happier, and, a lot more tolerable. And these transgender people are just completely ruining it across the board.
You had it right. They're trans-trenders, and these are people that have never gotten enough attention in their life, and they're trying to make themselves the center of attention.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're not that important,
Exactly.
and you're not special.
The last one is white cis male. Once again, he broke 1,000 Tranime girl. And that's one reason I love you. Yep. I go for science and biology, and that's what they don't like. White cis male, calling out your own side. He goes into a really good video on, how it is important for us to check each other and how we really don't do it. He also goes off and makes other points that are very well done and very concise. And as far as I'm concerned, he has earned every one of those 1,000 subscribers because his content is solid. He does a lot of research for these videos, and he did one rant video. I think this is the rant video that he did off the cuff. He doesn't like doing those. He likes scripting his.
He loves to script his
Yes,
stuff.
Jacob, I do too. I respect Blair White, Tranime Girl, and all transsexual people out there that are trying to fight against the SJW rhetoric of transgender people, because I don't believe in toaster sexuals. Maybe Ronan would get jealous. Trans is the new goth / emo. Ugh, according to Fred.
Actually, that's what it's
looking like.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it's definitely looking like.
Look, you're making a lifestyle choice. I understand that and everything, but don't start making ridiculous demands.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
No, it's not.
The only thing you're gonna do, especially with people like me, is irritate the fucking hell out of me.
Yep. Oh, and there's one thing I forgot to do before we get to the funny or not section, and that is update the description section.
And did you post a link for that, for the document?
Yes, the PDF link is going to be.
I encourage everybody to go and everything. If they offer a way for you to download that document in PDF form, do so you can review it on your own.
Yeah.
Just don't take our word for whatever, or anybody's word for whatever it said. Actually read the document.
We never want you to take what we say as gospel.
It's very important that everybody educate themselves on, especially events like this, that could seriously change the way we have to do everything online, as far as entertainment, information service, games,
All right, here is the funny part. No matter how badly you fuck up Benadryl Kumquat's name, everyone here still knows who you're talking about. Burn Tis Island Cowdenbeth. Oh, wow. When you die from the anxiety of something that actually turned out fine. Well, feck. Next one. Someone designed this, then someone approved it for production, then someone printed it, then someone bought it and put it on their car. I boned my dog.
Yeah, that's...
Tara Kennelly. Some guy in the middle of our exam just slammed his hands on the table and yelled, "Literally, what the fuck?" And I feel you. And I feel you, dude. I hate that September, October, November, and December aren't the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th month. Whoever fucked this up should be stabbed. If I recall, they did used to be the corresponding months. It was just when Roman leaders Julius Caesar and Augustus came into power, the months July and August were added, thus throwing off the numbering calendar. Good news, though. Whoever fucked it up did, in fact, get stabbed.
Oh...
Oh, me, let's go to that new Chinese place for dinner. Girl, I had Chinese for lunch. Me, Fukuden. When I think about you, I touch myself. I mean, rub my temples because you give me a fucking migraine.
Damn.
The response to every SJW video ever. Oh my gosh. Alright, sometimes it takes balls to be a woman.
Wait, what?
Right? If you're reading this, you have survived your entire life up until this point. You have survived trauma, heartbreak, devastation, and the different life phases. And here you are. You go, motherfucker. You're awesome. I'll shit right in your goddamn mouth. Fucking dare me. Two words. One finger. Taco Bell doesn't have a playground because it's hard to have fun when you might shit your pants. Why does quinoa look like a bowl of tiny condoms? You know, I never noticed that until this meme.
I suddenly do not have an appetite.
Now I can't unsee that. Oh my god. What if bodies just had random errors like computers do? Like you go to receive your Starbucks coffee and accidentally punch the barista in the face, then shit on the floor. What kind of fucking computer errors are you getting? Wow. Texting Bay, what's wrong? Nothing. Good night. Okay, good night. See, that's your fucking problem. Somebody's on her period. You're leaving the group, not sucking a dick. There's no need to open your mouth. And somehow I heard that in his voice.
Yes.
Attention, please do not open or try on product. Thank you. Who the fuck made this sign necessary?
That's what I want to know.
Oh my god. Some random number just inspired me to turn my life around. Y'all need to get it the fuck together right now. Wrong people, sorry. Now you're right. I do need to get my shit together. How often do you look at someone's Facebook status and think, oh, just shut the fuck up?
Often.
Often. Oh, often. It'd be great if you could text your dog. What you up to, Max? Just licking my balls. Susan, actually, where the fuck are you, Susan? I'm hungry, and I'll shit in your fucking shoe again if you're not home soon. Don't test me.
That's right.
Neil. Neil, is it bad I can think of what types of computer errors those would be? No, Neil. Not at all.
Neil, just trust me. I know those computer errors.
Alright, I love you, cheeseburger. I love you, Kung Pao chicken. Oh, alright, have fun. The ribbed stranger. Wow. Here we go. There goes the baker with a tray like always. The same old bread and roast to sell. There must be more than this provincial life. Well, fuck you too, Belle. And that's the fun stuff for the morning. So we're going to go back up here to the wonderful welcome stream. And there was something that happened last night that I got into on Twitter. Not drama. We were just discussing about how @Jack allowed Bering's Twitter account to be suspended. Mm-hmm. But then we keep finding all these pedophiles on Twitter. And the fact that Jack keeps letting these pedophiles continually make these accounts, even though we have literally been flagging them or tagging them or trying to bring these to Twitter's attention because these people don't need
I got shadow banned for 2 days because of that. Before, for just flagging an account that was producing this shit.
Yeah.
Running Guns did it, and then I did it, and we both. His shadow ban didn't last all that long, but I was shadow banned for 2 days. Yeah.
They were talking about, if there was a way to fight this or, bring this to Jack's attention to either make Jack, through Twitter, enforce the new regulations evenly across the board to everyone or get rid of these regulations as a whole. And I said, well, now that Twitter is a public tradable entity, maybe instead of trying to get Jack's attention or any of those admins' attention...
You would have to go to the stockholders.
Yeah, you'd have to go to the stockholders and bring this to the stockholders. And then someone mentioned to me that Saudi Arabia owns 40+% of the stock.
Well, see, then it's not a problem.
Yeah.
To them, it's not a problem. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, different cultures and everything, different parts of the world and everything, they have different beliefs. And there are some things they believe is okay and everything. Yep. They have a right to do so.
Yeah, they do.
And I hate even saying that.
Mm-hmm.
As morally and as ethically despicable as we think it is,
yep.
The only way to change all this and everything is forbid them in some which way.
Yeah.
From doing this. And I'm not, I wouldn't know where to begin to do all that.
Me either.
Or how to control all of this.
Me either.
That would have to be, it would have to be an international affair, which would mean it would have to bring the United Nations in on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want the UN controlling what I want to do.
No, I don't think so either.
But I do think that if things like that are discovered,
yeah,
they should be banned from view in certain locations.
Yeah.
Locations where it would be illegal or
yeah,
things like that and everything, it should not be viewable.
Yep. As always, live stream starting at, today he started at around 20 to 8, anywhere between 7:30 to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All these times I'm about to tell you are Eastern Standard Time, because I live in Georgia, and that's the way I roll here. Rhetorical Sunrise does, from Rhetorical Entertainment, a little half-hour show where he talks about this, that, and the other. At 9 o'clock, we have a social rec with his Hour of Power. Then you have me at 10:30. The Kumite has already started. He usually does 10 minutes worth of music at 11 a.m., so go check out Tonkasaw. He usually has a couple of people on there either airing out their differences or just BSing. And it lasts for a good couple of hours. Carlos Castrejo at 5 p.m. has his Archeology Today stream. Very informative, very interesting, and it does keep you rather riveted. The Ghost Poo Podcast is at 6 p.m. I will be updating whose channel it will be on, and I will be tweeting it out later because that's just what I do. I like to help out other creators. Jazz and Ann at 8 p.m. Grab a beer, grab your favorite seat, grab your computer, and join Jason for Jason's Pub, where they talk about this, that, and the other and just shoot the shit. And at 9 p.m., Lords of the Night with Ranting Monkey and Scribe Light. I don't know if SDA has made it back from her trip yet or not, but the Monkey and the Scribe are going to be doing the stream, and as soon as I figure out whose channel it's going to be on, I will let you know so you will be informed. Because, again, that's the way I roll. Yep, every once in a while, oh, good morning, Hellbound. Hi, Ghost Dog. How you doing? So, that's pretty much it for today. Is there anything else I wanted to cover? No. I've got to work on a writing commission today, and after I work on that commission for a little while, I will be jumping on the PDF that is in the description for the net neutrality rules and things that they want to institute. So I will be taking the bullet for the team and sorting through all the legalese and all the government rhetoric to get down to the bottom to see what we can dig up, and if they're trying to sneak anything in, and if the answer to that is yes, what it is they're actually trying to sneak in on us. So stay tuned for that, because that will either be a series of videos or it will be one ginormous live stream with a couple of commentators and stuff. I haven't decided yet. Hellbound. Also about the subject regarding net neutrality, I'm on the fence regarding it, since Anthony Brian Logan pretty much says that Google can just take off websites. Google cannot take off websites unless those websites are owned by Google's web services. The way websites work, Hellbound, is you go to a website and you ask for someone to host it for you, and those hosts aren't all Google. Anywhere from WordPress hosting to Foxy Hair Services to any other services that can host, they are independent of the Google platform. Now, Google can do what they have been doing and kind of, very sneakily and very unscrupulously leading you in other directions. Delisting, that is a possibility. Mm-hmm. Yep. And shunting you off to something else. Have a good day at work, Ghost Dog. Good luck, good luck, good luck. So we will be keeping an eye out on that. To me, I don't know how they would enforce the transparency issue, so I'm going to be looking into that a little bit deeper. Because in order for you to force ISPs to be transparent, you have to have some way to enforce it.
Comes in.
That's where the FTC comes in.
Federal Trade Commission says when you will submit X to us or you will not operate. That's the way they work.
Okay. All right.
They are very nonchalant, and it would be the same thing as public trading and everything. And if you're a publicly traded entity and everything, the FTC already knows what your policies are, unless you're being really, really sly and hiding them from them. In which case, if the FTC chooses and enough people complain, you can actually twist their arm and make them show it.
Yeah, which is, it's just really weird.
It's going to boil down to all of their practices are going to come down to exactly like hiring practices.
Yeah, pretty much.
Covered under some legislation similar to the EOC.
Hellbound, I think Anthony Bryan Logan would provide a better argument of why he is against net neutrality than me. You know, I've been so busy lately, I've kind of fallen behind on watching his content. He does have some really good content. I'm going to have to look him up and take a look at what his view is on it. I'm not particularly for it. It kind of scares me just a little bit. Just a little bit. I am putting in the live chat, since Nightbot doesn't want to automatically shill my stuff, the link to the Discord. So if you guys don't have that, it's going to put you directly into the screening room. Just say hello, and as soon as I pop in there after the show, I will promote you so you can interact with the other channels in the server and also hop into voice chats and have a chat with us. As always, there are very, very many ways to support this channel. You can go on my website and shop the Handmade Jewelry Store, place an order for a chainmail dragon. Any orders for the chainmail dragons I cannot guarantee will be done in time for Christmas shipment, because those things usually take a good 2.5 to 3 weeks to do. Rush orders are going to incur an extra fee. I am getting ready to do a Cyber Monday sale, so be on the lookout for that. You can be a sponsor or a patron of mine by going to my website, or clicking on the Patreon link on the website, or clicking the tip jar in the description below. Any one of those will let you know that you are supporting this particular growing channel and all of its sister channels like Madness Live, Maddie the Herb Chick, and other channels that I decide to start up in the future. And on that note, my friends, may your coffee ever flow, may your caffeine be ever strong, and may you have a marvelous Monday. Take care, my coffee nuts.